If a silky smooth vanilla custard topped with roasted strawberries sounds good to you, then say hello to my panna cotta recipe. This creamy Italian dessert comes together in no time and it is beyond delicious. Hey, you're watching Preppy Kitchen, where I, John Cannell, teach you how to make delicious homemade dishes to share with your family and friends. This panna cotta will be ready before you know it, so let's get started. First off, get all your ingredients together, especially the gelatin. This is like an amazing, silky, melt in your mouth custard, but instead of having any eggs in it, the gelatin stabilizes things just enough to bring it together. Get your milk, get your cream, get your sugar, vanilla, everything out. Now, into a medium pot, you're gonna add in 1.5 cups or 360 ml of whole milk. Let me tell you something, this is a recipe that really highlights the flavor of the milk. So if possible, try and use a really nice milk and cream. You're gonna taste it. To my 1.5 cups of milk, I'm adding 1/2 cup or 100 grams of granulated sugar. It's not gonna be super sweet, just perfectly sweet enough. Stir that together. And now we're gonna set this over medium-low heat. We wanna get this to 140 degrees or hot to the touch. We don't want it to boil though. On to medium-low heat you go. Stir, 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 back to the table. While that's heating, we're gonna hydrate our gelatin. So I have 1 packet of unflavored gelatin. Sprinkle it over the top. You kind of just don't want to have this in one big lump. That is gonna hydrate up into like a jello-like solid. Just set that aside and then back to stirring. Stir, stir, stir. So I'm using my thermometer, but you do not have to do that. You can put your clean finger inside and say, my finger's burnt. No, you can say, oh, that feels warm, or does it feel hot? It feels different at 140. Now we're gonna leave this on heat, but add in our hydrated gelatin. Whisk, 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 overheat until it's fully dissolved. Once it's dissolved, off heat. Let's take it back to the island. Okay, my mixture is off heat. Now I want 1 full cup or 240 ml of cream. Gonna stir this in. This is adding extra richness. I love cream so much. And the very last ingredient in our base is the primary flavor besides the milk. It's the vanilla. You can use vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons, but I am addicted to seeing the little black specks of vanilla seeds, so I'm using 2 teaspoons of vanilla bean paste. Look at those. Can you see those seeds? That is my favorite thing. I love it so much. Now we're gonna stir this in, starting with my measuring spoon because I don't want to waste any of that paste. They don't give it away, and it's not free. All right, now just whisk to combine. Whisk, whisk, whisk. Now that your panna cotta is basically done, you have 2 options. You can pour this into a glass to serve it, so like any kind of a nice glass you have will do, or you can pour this into a ramekin. So if you're using a ramekin, what you can do is invert it onto a plate right before serving, and it's like a free floating little panna cotta like you'd have at a restaurant. One thing that I will say is you do not want to try and pour gracefully from a pot, so transfer it to some kind of a pouring situation. Now, trivet says bye-bye, and this will make 6 desserts. But if you want to have a mega panna cotta just for like you and somebody else, knock yourself out. I'm not going to judge. I'm going to do 2 glasses and a couple different ramekins. In you go, and it's kind of like pouring a wine glass. Like, how much is too much? And then let's do 1 ramekin too. I have a couple different sizes here just so you can see how they unmold, because you might like the big wide one or the smaller one. So just finish pouring into your various containers. There we go. The ramekins you can fill to the top if you want. If you notice, this is pure vanilla beans at the bottom. Just distribute them to the various glasses so everyone has that nice little pop of detail. They're all gonna sink to the bottom, which is actually great because it gives you some detail when you flip these over here in your ramekins. In you go. Let's check them at 6 hours. This is the most amazing make-ahead dessert ever because you can just pop them out of the fridge and everyone will be delighted, let me tell you. At any point in the chilling process, you can make your delicious roasted strawberry topping. And here's the deal. When you roast strawberries, it intensifies the flavor, and it's kind of like a cross between making a jam and making a reduction, but with the whole pieces of strawberry in there. It is really, really nice and a great complement to that creamy, mild, dreamy panna cotta. All right, so just hull, and you can halve or quarter your strawberries. It's really up to you. I will say that if you roast strawberries, it's a nice way of bringing flavor out of like the sad strawberries at the supermarket if they're off season. But if you're roasting like nice ripe summer strawberries, it's like crazy. I'm just gonna add some sugar and vanilla to this, but if you want, you could add a drizzle of balsamic vinegar, like a nice aged one, or even a sprinkle of pepper in as well. Those are nice additions to your strawberries. But it's totally up to you. If you want to make a lot of strawberry topping, 2 pounds, 4 pounds, just double, triple, quadruple the recipe, whatever you want. This is amazing as a strawberry shortcake edition or on ice cream sundaes. It's just really tasty. As soon as all your strawberries are in a nice big bowl, we're gonna toss them with a 1/4 cup of sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Give them a quick toss just to mix things up a bit. Now you're gonna dump these out onto a baking dish and roast at 425 degrees. You know what? I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you that if you didn't want to use the vanilla, or if you want an extra flavor, you could add in some rose water or orange blossom water. Oh, that'd be so nice and summery. Okay, spread your strawberries out a bit, just like that. And now we're gonna toss this into the oven, 425 for 20 to 25 minutes. Make sure to stir the strawberries halfway through baking. So you'll notice that the strawberries are bubbling and just have released a ton of juices when they're ready. In you go. Okay, my strawberries are roasted hot out of the oven and way too hot for panna cotta. So we're gonna pour these into a container to chill out. It's always a best practice to put not screeching hot things into the fridge. This is gonna go into the fridge to chill. When we come back, we'll be unmolding, assembling, and tasting our delicious panna cotta. I let my panna cotta chill, and now I wanna show you how to dress it up and also get it out of that ramekin. It is a little bit tricky if you're choosing to plate it. So first of all, this is set. Turn it to the sides. You can see there's a little bit of a wobble. All those beautiful vanilla beans are on the bottom, so it's a nice surprise for people to find, but the flavor has been infused throughout. All you have to do is spoon some of the strawberry mixture on top. That's kind of it. Just decide how much people want. And I always like to give some of that reduced juice as well. That's the best part. If you want to get the panna cotta out of these ramekins, here's what you should do. This is like a pretty strong seal at the edge. Get a really thin knife and just trace it really carefully around the very edge. Your goal is to release the top where it's dried a bit without really tearing the panna cotta, because it's very delicate. It's a delicate, silky custard. Now that we've done that, dip it in hot water just for a few seconds. This will warm it up and melt just a tiny little bit. Dry your ramekin off. Invert your plate on top of it. Try and get it centered. That's always nice. And now we're going to flip it over. Did it come out? Tap, 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 tap. Lift it out. If it's a little bit off center and it's bothering you, use that same knife and just wiggle the edge out a bit. Don't go crazy on this because you will tear it. Now that your panna cotta has been released, go ahead and spoon some of the strawberry mixture over it. And that's now ready to go. I love seeing the strawberries with the vanilla beans on top of your unmolded panna cotta. It makes the trouble of getting it out worthwhile. Jiggle, jiggle, jiggle. So I love the way this plated panna cotta looks, but this one is the slightly larger portion, so I think that's what I'll be eating. Before I take a bite, if you like this recipe, check out my vanilla playlist. Tons of vanilla recipes, and they are all delicious too. All right, but now it's time for a bite. Even though I've been eating so much of this off camera. Those roasted strawberries have so much flavor, and they pair perfectly with that mild, creamy, silky vanilla custard. Oh, you gotta make this recipe. And if you like this video, hit that like button and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next vanilla video.